Welcome to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. The first story is called Reward Program. The year was 2000 in Canada. One of the better grocery store chains, Loblaws, had introduced their new President's Choice PC Point Reward Program. This was tied into their PC Financial MasterCard. There was a month-long promotion where you could get bonus points for purchasing select items. One of the items was the signature President's Choice Decadent Chocolate Chip Cookies. These are amazing cookies that are still around today. The offer was, for every bag of cookies purchased for the regular price of $1.99, you get 1,000 PC points when you used your PC Financial MasterCard. The 1,000 PC points were worth $1 for later redemption. Buying a package of great cookies for half price after reward value would not make for a good malicious compliance story now, would it? I figured something out and started some major malicious compliance with their offer. I started by going from store to store and buying every bag of cookies I could find. I even asked if they had cases in the bag. From one store I was able to get 8 cases. I ended up getting 1,400 packages of cookies over a 3-week period before the program broke. Having 1,400 packages of cookies created a problem. What was I going to do with all those cookies I bought for $1.99? At the time I was a field sales rep for a company with 4 factories in the province. I ended up selling most of the cookies for $1 a package to the employees. They thought it was a great deal and could not get enough. On to the points. Every couple of days the bonus points would show up in my PC Points account. I realized I could take my PC Points and convert them online for PC Points to Petro Points. Petro Canada Gas Station Rewards Program. Once I had 100,000 PC points, I would convert to 100,000 Petro points. I would then go online into my Petro points account and convert those points to Sears Club points. Sears was a department store that is now gone. Eventually, I would redeem the Sears Club points for vouchers that could be used for in-store purchases at Sears. The break. After converting 1.4 million PC Financial points to Petro points over a couple of weeks, Petro Canada caught on and immediately stopped all conversions to Sears for everyone. No more points could be converted. It even was marked as not available on their website. I called Petro Points when I found out, and after a little discussion regarding the sudden end of the conversions, was allowed one final conversion. The math. One package of cookies cost $1.99. I sold the package of cookies for $1, earned $1 in PC points. Exchanged that $1 in PC points to $1 in Petro points. Exchanged the $1 in Petro points to $5 in Sears Club points. It was a fun 3 weeks while it lasted. The next story is called Not the Section Leader. When I was a high school junior, I was the second chair for the second violins in an orchestra. My stand partner, the section leader, was the sophomore who I will call Ben. Ben was an amazing violinist and he knew it. He would frequently tell me that I was the only violinist in the section that he respected, which rubbed me the wrong way because he was actively insulting my friends. When we did sectionals, Ben would take advantage of our director being in a separate room to tear down everyone's confidence and basically just be a huge jerk about everything. During the second trimester, he wasn't able to take orchestra and I became the section leader. This may be self-congratulatory, but every person in the section came to me privately and told me that they much preferred me over Ben because I actually respected them. I made a point to use constructive criticism over straight criticism. And I admitted that I don't have a lot of free time to practice, so I understood that they couldn't dedicate their lives to high school orchestra. During the third trimester, Ben came back. I was once again second chair, and he was first. He would make the weirdest comments like, "Hey girl, you miss me?" To which I would just roll my eyes and keep practicing. Despite these comments, he seemed to have mellowed out. Unfortunately, he didn't. First sectional, he went right back to yelling and degrading the second violins. I would often tell him to stop and I would bring up how much progress we had while he was gone. After I had mediated, he quieted down. At least until I tried to explain some notation in the sheet music. He started yelling at me and kept repeating, "I'm the section leader. The only person that knows how things work is me." Cue malicious compliance. I started slacking off during sectionals. I would play with the full orchestra and I did individual practice, but when we were separated I completely ignored what was going on. Ben was obviously frustrated, but he couldn't really do anything. Until one day he got to the notation that I was trying to explain before. He had no idea what he was talking about, and so he asked me to explain it. My response? "Sorry Ben, but you are the section leader. I obviously don't know how to do anything." Ben stormed out and didn't show up to class again. I found out 2 weeks later that he had quit orchestra. I felt kind of bad about it, but that guilt went away quickly when I could hear the vast improvements my section made without being verbally abused constantly. The third story is called Manager Wants to Save Money. I had a job some years ago where I needed to visit different customers' premises every day. There were many of us doing this job across several teams, and the expectation was that you drove using your own car and were paid a mileage rate. There were no company-provided cars. All was fine until I changed from one team to another, and the new manager queried my first mileage claims submitted to them. The location of our office was on the edge of town. To reach many of our customers, you could either drive on the main road to the next town, which got you there quickly and safely, or you could take some narrow country lanes, which were a nightmare to drive through. So everyone obviously used the main road. But the manager had discovered the country lane route was 3/4 mile shorter, so 1.5 miles on a round trip. That made 60 pence difference to the mileage claim for each day. A visit to our customer took a whole day. The manager refused to authorize the claims for the main road route and insisted I resubmit with a lower mileage, as that was what the company rules said you could claim. Fine, no problem. The claim for the month was reduced by £5. But then I told them that I was no longer going to use my car to drive to customers, anywhere. There was no obligation in my employment contract to do so, and being in the UK as a long-term employee, there was no way they could get rid of me. The issue was that our customers were not that far away at around 15 miles, but they were mainly in remote areas or on edge-of-town industrial estates. There was no direct public transport to get to them. If you did try and use public transport, then a 30-minute journey turned into a 2-hour journey with all the connections. A one-day customer visit becomes a 2-day visit, so it was halving productivity. For the next month's claim, instead of paying about £8 a day in mileage, the company now had to pay for a rental car or a taxi, both of which cost around £50 a day. My travel claims now went from around £160 a month to £1,000, all to save £5. After the first month, as the manager had a team of 10 all doing the same work, they initially spent an inordinate amount of time trying to allocate me customers that were on public transport routes. But then, my colleagues in the team who had also been taken to task by the manager over the same mileage issue saw what was going on. They also started to refuse to use their own cars. Eventually, after some months, senior management had to step in when they saw how their travel budget was being exhausted. They decreed that people could claim for the sensible route. Most went back to driving, but some of us remained using taxis and rental cars, as there was still no contractual obligation to use your own car. The last story is called Play Stupid Games. A couple of years ago, I was working as a sole subject matter expert for a small company, and it was awesome. I had a great time bringing them into the new millennium. It was real bad, had good relations with everyone, and the company in general made it a point to be good to its employees. My work spoke for itself. The department I was assigned to started turning a profit for the first time in company history. Not that hard when you actually know what you are doing. Management saw dollar signs and went on to articulate a bunch of different ideas on how to best evolve and continue this recent trend of success. Maybe I was too expansive. Maybe I had pushed back on too many dumb ideas. Maybe they thought they could do without me since things were no longer on fire. In any case, they felt they needed to get rid of me. They decided that instead of having a conversation, the solution would be to simply frustrate me to no end until I'd eventually quit on my own volition. I would later find out they had done this to other employees before. They started exploiting the pride I have in the quality of my work. Every other week, management would tell me that business unit was complaining about me, then refused to answer any questions or elaborate any further. The strategy worked, as this frustrated me greatly, until one fateful day when I was pulled into a meeting. It was about an unrelated topic, but of course they had to mention once more that business unit was complaining. You are denying me any and all information about this nerveless complaint. What the heck do you expect me to do? I want you to talk to head of business unit. For God's sake, can't you solve problems by yourself? So I decided that's what I was going to do and sat down the next day to type out the following message. Dear head of business unit, I was told yesterday for the 6th time that business unit was complaining about me. For the 6th time I asked for details, elementary things like the subject of the complaint. And for the 6th time any and all information was categorically denied to me. I do not know why management isn't interested in solving problems, opting instead to play guessing games with my nerves. In any case, as one apparently can no longer expect information to be passed on, I warmly recommend that you take up any and all issues directly with me. This way I will be able to ensure that they are not only taken seriously but also actually handled. Best regards. PS. With the writing of this message, I consider the matter closed, until such a time as someone provides me with an actual subject of the complaint. With management CC'd, it didn't take long for them to pull me into a meeting room and voice their displeasure. But since I had done nothing but present facts, there was nothing they could accuse me of apart from showcasing their own bad behavior. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. They did finally find the backbone to tell me I should seek employment elsewhere, and I moved on to greener pastures. Until today, I can only speculate on why they choose to poison the relationship instead of just asking me to find new employment and letting me leave on good terms. Oh yeah, in my department, it folded the following year. And with that, we end today's video. Let me know what you think about the stories. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the stories and today's video? I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And I hope you have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.